Right. Hello everyone, this is MV, broadcasting from a sunset Cardiff. You can see my view, it's lovely. It's now 9:46, we've still got sunset here in the southwest of UK. And just as you get past Bristol, you'll find a lovely bridge, the Severn Bridge, which takes you into Cardiff, to Newport, or to Newport and then to Cardiff. And what a wonderful city it's to live in. So, this is MV. It's been a couple of days since I've been able to do some broadcasts. So, Beatles has carried on the baton. And we are now on the, let's see, the 13th or 12th of May, I believe it is. Actually, it's the 13th. Now, I've had the pleasure on this wonderful spring or stroke summer evening so far to have a glass of cider. So, as I've started broadcasting, I've recognised that my cohesiveness of my speech is slightly impaired. So I will correct that very quickly with a glass of water. So just bear with me one moment. Actually very funny. Right. Water, aqua. Let's go. So I am back. As I said, the cohesiveness and my coordination have somewhat affected. I didn't really think it would be the case on one sort of glass of cider, Strongbow, but it has. So I'll nurse myself along as I sort of get myself back to some sort of normal equilibrium. And you've been looking at the chance to see the league tables and the stats. So at the moment, Detroit seems to be still at the top, but only just. They seem to have had a couple of days of returned or renewed glory. So they're 2.5 ahead of Mudville. Mudville and Jersey are still at the top. A nice little cluster of Cleveland, Des Moines, Manchester and North Sound just behind. Hawaii have just gone through this strange slump. They are now 13 or 15. And then Badlands are slowly getting some equilibrium back into their performances. So they're getting closer to 400 and only 7.5 back. So they can really do some damage. And it's really interesting with Badlands because they have such an interesting ballpark. It is the ball. The ball flies out of there, to be honest. So you really see someone like Chris Bryant with 34 RBIs. So whenever you go to Badlands, expect some home runs coming out of there. But at the same time, see, Garrick has quite a few home runs. Their pitching suffers too, a bit like playing at Coors, but they really have been upsetting a few teams or making it close. Hawaii, on the other hand, we have a star performer in Juan Soto. You can see Steve takes wonderfully crafted cards. Juan Soto, for whatever reason, 231 OPS, that's the reason. He is performing out of sight. So at the moment, in the 2020 season for real, he had a 193 OPS. Outstanding. But he's even outperforming that at the moment in the games. He's on an 18-game hitting streak. And it's become one of the stories of the league. Fred Dunlap's another one back in 0400. This is Steve Tate's once secret weapon. If we have a draft again, I don't think that would be the case. Everyone knows who Fred Dunlap is. Pop Lloyd in Negro League. Steve's done again another great statistical rendering of this for Action PC, and that's really good, and so on and so forth. So you can see the leagues there. My own particular team is Josh Gibson, and what I'm really pleased about to see how some of those Negro Leaguers have fared, like Pop Lloyd, really getting to get a feel for who he was. Heavy Johnson, I knew the name when Steve was going through. We were all looking at different Negro Leaguers and kind of updating our knowledge, but there's Heavy Johnson. Now I really do know who he is and how he performs. Well, my expectations from Heavy in a league like this are very high now. Assuming you were using the same statistical secret sauce that Steve does. Josh Gibson. Clearly I knew who he was, most people do. Is there anyone else? Who's Perez? That's Salvador Perez. A nice surprise. This gentleman, never knew who he really was. Salvador Perez catches, done very well with home runs. There's a few, I wouldn't say surprises because there's so many people that are so great. Oscar Charleston, there's another great Negro Leaguer, playing exceptionally well, but still way below where he could be. So we know he's batting .280. He's got 7 home runs with 25 ribbies. He's doing okay in a league of greats. Stolen bases, there's my boys there. Joe Morgan having a horrible season with the bat, actually. But this is the 1972 Joe Morgan, not 75 or 76. Or later versions of him. It's not his peak. He's just about to come into his peak. There's Tommy Tucker, again. Another excellent performer, but not where he needs to be. So, there's another Negro Leaguer, Willie the Devil Wells. I've seen him play now in these leagues. It's almost as if going back in a time machine, really, and getting back to see these players. I've really enjoyed it. I didn't grow up with baseball, but I got into it in my teen years from traveling and, reading American comics and magazines, and you suddenly get pulled into the culture. You grow up older and, you used to get more access, and then television, of course, cable TV in the 80s and in the 90s, getting, even though I lived abroad, I was still able to get some access. And then getting exposed to games like Earl Weaver baseball and, High Heat and all these great micro league baseball. So when I talk to people these days, it's not that I'm a novice, but at the same time, I don't have the culture. I can just bits of it, but not all of it, which I kind of envy a little bit. But then again, I've got that with soccer and cricket in reverse, so whereas I understand it on a sort of like a different level. That's not to degenerate. Oh, I can't even say the word. To knock anyone who's into soccer and saying they would never get what I've got. I probably just got more exposure down the years due to my age, and also the availability of so much things, whether it's looking at a T-shirt or in the vernacular, or just history you've absorbed since school days, since as old as you can remember. Similar to cricket, because it's not as popular in the UK. Well, Test cricket isn't, but 2020 cricket is as popular as anything right now. It's probably the most popular form of cricket in the world. It's a short version, which people who follow baseball would probably appreciate. It's much more exciting on a level. So let's have a look to see what we're doing today. We're moving the league along quite a bit. Let's see what we got to play today. Funny enough, I did get hold of Dave Cook, to say what a wonderful game he's made. I've obviously spoken to him before, and to his John and a few other others up there. But just to say, I'm really enjoying it, and are we using even though I've been taught really well by Steve and Beatles, I just want to make sure that there's not a bug with the injuries. And all he said was the PBXs are good for games, swapping off games, but we must have the same home file, which makes complete sense. I think we understand that. So I'm just going to keep looking just to see if there are bugs. I suspect there is, because I've seen a couple myself. But he was really, really friendly, which is so nice, because that's what makes DK Sports so brilliant, is their customer service, in my opinion. So is Clay Dresslow as well. Over the years, I've been with these guys for like 20 odd years. So is Richard Hanna at Second and 10, who has programmed many games. I constantly have to ask him for new passwords as I change computers and laptops down the years. He's always been friendly. Game I'd like him to revisit, actually, is Headed Goal, which I have a lot of time for. As anyone knows me, knows I'm a big soccer fan enthusiast. He's done tennis well. But let's get to the main thing while we're here. Baseball. Here we go. So, Legend Sports Universe, welcome to the chat. I saw your good day. I saw your lovely intervention yesterday in Beatles MLB The Show stream, and I agree. These things are stress relievers. That's what I played them for. I gave more history because, being a Brit, I appreciate the history of cricket, but I also appreciate the history of baseball. And I just think, for some strange reason, it's got a deeper maybe because I take cricket for granted, maybe because cricket's got so much statistical data and history. But there's something romantic about the baseball history that I absolutely love. So anyway, without going waxing lyrical, and like I said, I've had a cup of cider already. That's loosened up my lips just a touch. Let's have a look at what we're going today. We've only got 3 games today. Clayton Kershaw versus Lady Baldwin. Chandler versus Scott, so I can't play that one because it's my game. And I notice it's carried over the black colours from Beatles, which is interesting. And we've got Mudville Arlington. So Beatles, your BBX did carry through the colours as well, so it's very interesting. And Mudville Arlington, so interesting. So maybe I just do Warnicky versus Pete Alexander looks good. So what I'm going to do is autoplay mine. Yes, Manchester wins 6-4 at Detroit. So we take down the evil empire. And I'll look at my team. Yes, Lofton is starting. It's kept the lineup that it should do. Thank you, Beatles. Eternally, so it's moving nicely, Beatles. This is my revamped lineup with Lofton starting. And it's worked with the Hijiro at second base. So that one's worked. 18 left on base. So who had a big day? Mickey Mantle, 2 for 3. A-Rod, 1 for 3. And Tommy Tucker, 3 for 5. So against the production out of A-Rod, here at 284. Still batting 270 overall. But Seminick and McGee have only just got a couple of games on it. Same with Donaldson. So Tucker and Gibson batting 300. Kenny Lofton's off to a great start. 400. Ripper Collins is in the team now. He's coming through. Teddy Ballgame needs to be better. As does Mike Schmidt. The make batting 291. I've got him at DH now. Seems to like that move. Joe Morgan so I'm happy. I'm very happy. Spud Chandler, very underrated pitcher in my opinion. Play for the Yankees. 9 innings, 9 hits. Solid performance from him as usual. And that also wore out just a little bit of his bullpen. Nice to see. A little bit of wear and tear on Steve's bullpen. Always good. So you said here, just trying to encourage, I've been there. Yeah, of course. Feeling like losing a little bit of inspiration, yeah. Well, I'm always inspired by you, yourself. Always inspired by Beatles and Steve and the others as well. I think Steve, God bless him, he's been so busy with so many projects with us. He's taken a little hiatus, but he's in touch every day, which is excellent, or most days, so he'll be back shortly. I take great inspiration, but obviously real life does intervene. So I've had a bit of time off this week with work, obviously. Not obviously. And also just a long day yesterday. I went to London at 5 o'clock in the morning. And there's a story behind that. I'll say another day. So, Jersey versus Cleveland. I may play that. Or let's just advance. Let's keep the train moving. And Jersey beat Cleveland 9-2. Jersey, big clue. We had a little bit of a fiddle with Big Clue's lineup and made sure it was playing George Brett. So it's clearly picked that up. So Beatles, it's working. You know, I've got the main file at my end, so as long as I keep that and do any changes from that, then it'll work. Because I've got the main file. And it seems to be working so far. Because it's definitely carrying over everything now. Suzuki, so here we go. Utley 3 for 5, Norm Cash 2 for 5. Norm Cash is having a storming season. So I'll be curious, Legends, how these guys are getting on in your league. If they're in there, because not all of them are, I know that. Ichiro, always line drive to right field, always gets a hit or two. Utley, again, just amazing player for me. Ed Delahanty, slow start. Norm Cash was sitting around the 400 mark, so he's doing well. George Brett is in the team now, doing really well. Monty Irvin is in the team, so Big Clue will be very happy with that. Looking over to Cleveland, this is Todd's team. Poor Todd's had so many injuries, but the players he's replaced them with, to be fair, have been pretty good. You know, Bill Joyce is no slouch, although he's not playing well. Heavy Johnson is good in right field, batting 350. Buck Leonard is a Hall of Famer. He's just a replacement. Kevin Mitchell is just started, so I like this team. And Thurman Munson is playing for the injured and very injured. Who was the catcher? I forget. But Clayton Kershaw takes the win over Lady Baldwin. And Lady Baldwin is really struggling. really, really struggling. So that's not so good. There we go. So I wish you luck in your endeavours. Oh, I seem to have lost some transmission here. Oh, we've lost some transmission, have we? Have we? We shall see. I don't know if I'm still live. I'm assuming I am. Yes, I am still live. Sorry about that. I seem to have just lost connection there. I thought I had. So yes. So Legends, I love what you do. I think you did a broadcast the other night. So if anyone is looking into something very interesting, I believe you did a draft night, or did you show how you did create your players? Because I'm a big creator of players myself, but not for this game. For a cricket game called Cricket 20, well, many versions of the same thing, like MLB The Show. I've been doing it for 7 years. I do the artwork. I do everything. If you look in my streams from a couple of years ago, you'll see me doing that. And I thoroughly loved it. So to see you doing what you did was absolutely amazing. But don't lose your inspiration, Legends. Whatever you do, you inspire many. And I've seen you do basketball at night on your own with one viewer in there, and I've come in and taken my little seat with my popcorn, even if it's like a couple of minutes. Because funny enough, those visitors actually do come back to you. Like I did with Beatles, I hung around, lurking outside. But then, one day I thought, you know what, this is exactly what I'm looking for. And popped in, sat down around the fire, figuratively of course, and had an absolutely wonderful time. And then you meet all these great, strange characters like Big Clue and Steve and Robbie Wartburg, and even though you're not physically seeing them necessarily, you are hearing their voices eventually because we call on the mic. You get the humour, the wisecracking. Like Todd in my mind and Big Clue are the incredibly smart guys. Not the others aren't, just to say that very quickly. But they are the wisecrackers. Beatles has this very soft burr that, keeps the whole engine moving. You know what I mean? He's the one driving the train with a few beers in his hand and a stogie. And that's funny because that's exactly how I see it. And then you've got people in the engine room like Steve Tate doing all these great projects in the background as well that keeps the engine moving. And it's like myself, who's like very eager, like a puppy sort of thing, you know what I mean? Not like I'm young or anything, but eager, anticipating the next thing, what's happening next, Oh, let's do it, enthusiasm galore, You've got people like Ken Castro, the wise, smart guy, also with a very cynical tongue and a very naughty boy tongue as well, which is quite funny. As well, you've got all these characters that come in, PQ Ribber, Pib99, Arnold Hunter, and even if it's just for a couple of seconds, RGL Network I've gotten to know a little bit now through Beatles advising me to go to his channel, to go and see the channel. And it's awesome to see your one, but now you've got some extra blowback, because people, you've come in and been friendly, we've all come in to each other's channels. Mine is minute, but actually I'm surprised at how quickly it's growing, mainly by association, I think, not because of content necessarily. I hope I can be a bit better at broadcasting. I was kind of frogged much into it in a very funny way, and I've enjoyed it, even if I get certain things wrong or I say it in a very British way. And I don't like using a fake accent, to tell you the truth, but somehow it just comes out of me anyway, like it would do. Why wouldn't it? I've grown up with these commentators as well, so in my head I can hear them. It might come out sounding like MV, but in my head I'm hearing, whoever it was, Vin Scully, for example, or Chris Berman. I'm hearing them in my head, and a mixture of them as well, so it's quite funny. But I really like what you've done. The originality of what you've done as well is interesting. Like I said, I did something similar. So, Legends, I hope you continue to keep doing that first-class work. And like anything, isn't it? It's a change model. Things go up, they go down, they go up, they go down, depending on seasons as well. So that's enough of me ranting, and not ranting, bantering. I have clearly had decided, as you can tell. I'm actually thinking of another one, but I don't think I've finished the broadcast. So here we go, Mudville, Arlington. Do we play that one? Well, Arlington take a slacking, so let's just see. Let's play Mudville, Arlington, because Beatles want to see his team. I'm sure Robbie wants to see his team. So here we go. Mudville, Arlington. I have a new Arlington, actually, but I'm going to use that one. Let's see if Robbie's got... Oh, Robbie does have something set up. Oh, good. So Mudville versus a right-hander. It is saved. Oh, he must have some injuries. Rest. Okay, so there's some choices here to be made for Robbie Ortberg. So Koff-White, we need to get a third baseman and a DH in that lineup somehow. So Jimmy Williams, it's telling us, needs rest. And this is what I like, what we're doing. It's working. Well done, Steve Tate. I stuck with you. But Jimmy is the only third baseman he's got. Ouch. So what I'm going to do is make an executive decision. That can't be right. He's got to have more third basemen than that, surely. No. That can't be right. Robbie, what have you done? What have you done, son? Hey? God. How can you have a team without third baseman? Oh, well, that'll explain quite a lot then, won't it? Good Lord. Right, so we have to make an executive decision. The only one that can play third base is Jimmy Williams. So what I'm going to do is put Jimmy in anyway, because he has to go in. There's no one else. Right? Now, as for his fatigue, I'm going to maybe get Robbie to do a trade with someone, or even one of myself, even. Maybe we should have had free agents in this game that can only be accessed in case of extreme emergencies. But anyway, that's his penalty for not drafting a third baseman. Yeah, that's sad. DH, he hasn't got a DH, but if you look at games played, so let's go to real replay stats. Games played. Jimmy Williams needs a rest. Fine, we get it, but we're not hearing you. I would suggest as a DH for Robbie only, if the computer's saying it's blank, so it's got to have a DH. It's not in his lineup. Let's try this again. Computer lineup, there it is. So that's what it's telling me. Fisher as a DH, and Fisher it will be. I don't see any difference there with what the computer, but damn Bruthers, I am shocked, surprised, has not been selected. This man is the key, as far as I'm concerned. He is an absolute beast. But I'll let the commissioners make a decision on some of these teams, like Arlington in particular. But I think it can be definitely reshaped. However, this is not a charity, and neither does Robbie want charity. So, we move on. Lou Wanaka will be the man. So let's see if Beatles has a save line. If he doesn't, but it is choosing it based off what we've learned Beatles likes. So he has got some injuries. The big cat, Andres Alexander, that's the cider. Andres Galarraga is out. Davy Johnson is out. So it's not picked them. Fantastic, no bugs. Second base, Leon Day will play. Galarraga's a backup. Nobody needs a rest. That's all good. Pete Alexander will be the pitcher. So that looks good. Let's move on. Welcome to Rangers Park for tonight's game between Mudville and Arlington. I'm MV, slightly inebriated by a little glass of Strongbow cider. No, I'm joking. Of course, I'm sober. Arlington has won just 2 of their last 10. Pete Alexander starts for Mudville. He's made 6 starts on the year and is 5-1 with an ERA of 4.07. His first start against Arlington, here comes my accent, he'll be opposed by Lon Warneke for Arlington. He's made 6 starts on the year and is 2-3 with an ERA of 3.78. His first start against Mudville is 80 degrees, wind speed 3 miles per hour, left to right, and we have light rain. So I could do this in my normal accent. Let's see how that goes, just for a laugh. But we take the game very seriously. So, Legends, if you're still there, you inspire so many. I'll just let you know that. And if you do run into that little wall, no different than anybody, and you're a writer, as I remember, and writing, as you well know, you'll hit your brick wall and you climb over it. I'm a writer to myself. So, I'm pretty confident that your creativity will return, if that's what you were saying. will return abundant, no question. You're a valuable part of this community that I know, and I tune into you maybe not as much as I could, but maybe due to time difference. But I shall definitely be dropping in even more often because I've seen you influence what Beatles has done even more recently. And I bought a PS5, and you're to blame for that. Yeah? Here we go. So I'll do this in my best I can accent, my own. So stepping up to the plate is Wee Willie Keeler, DH, batting .294 and 0 home runs with 12 RBIs. On the mound is Lou Warneke, or Warneke. Behind the plate is Salvador Perez. First base, 19th century phenom Dave Orr. Second base, the Raja, a very unpopular Rogers Hornsby, and I think he's behind some of these chemistry issues at the Arlington Sharks. In shortstop position is Honus Wagner. Honus batting a miserable .252, and there's some talk about him wanting to leave Arlington. At third base is Jimmy Williams, who's recently been reported as needing a rest. In left field is Hank Greenberg, another one. I mean, he's actually quite sad. In fact, look at his face. He looks sad. Batting just .243. And if you look at the park factors, you could possibly see why. For right-hand hitters, anyway. I think Greenberg's a left-hand hitter. But for righties, it's Death Valley. It's just, for home run hitters, it's outstanding. But I don't know. It's just not happening. Anyway, here we are at Rangers Ballpark. It is left to right, the wind, 3 miles per hour. And it's got a chance of rain. So the weather report is saying light rain. 80 degrees here at the moment. So interesting weather conditions. Let's see how that'll affect the ball. So leading off is Wee Willie Keeler for the 17 and 13 Mudville Sharks. So he's stepping in now. Everybody's ready. Eric Davis in center field. Benikoff in right field. And the umpire is ready. Keeler waits. The umpire is just checking a few things here. A little bit of light rain, so he's just a little bit concerned. And here's the 0-2 from Warneke. And that's hit straight to center field. Eric Davis will take that shallow fly ball, and make the catch for the out. One away here. So a little bit of light breeze coming through and a little bit of light rain. As Ty Cobb steps to the plate. Ty also not having a vintage season. Here's Lloyd in the on-deck circle. And the ground base hit between first and second, so Ty Cobb gets on base. Let's turn up and pump up the volume. How has the volume sound gone down? I don't understand. Or is it my volume? Aha. So hopefully you can hear all of this. I think my OBS volume is just fine. I just wasn't hearing the background noises as high as they should be. There we go. Koff fires it back in. So here's Pop Lloyd. So Ty Cobb got a base hit. So Ty Cobb's on first. Here's Pop Lloyd. Batting .389 against right-hand hitters. Runner on first. Warneke with the first pitch. There goes Cobb and a throw down. And he is safe. So Pop Lloyd stepped out there as Perez fired it down to second. And Ty Cobb is safe with his 9th steal of the season. Pop Lloyd having a great season so far for Mudville. The 0-1 from Warneke now, keeping an eye on the runner. Here's the pitch. Curveball. And a line drive between third and short, base hit for Pop Lloyd. And Cobb will get down to third. So Pop Lloyd, I mean, sensational. Batting .402. And one man out here in the top of the first. Brings up Jimmy Fox. Here's the 1-1 from Warneke to Fox. Curveball and a blooper back up the middle. Base hit and Ty Cobb will score. So Mudville go ahead 1-0. One man out here. And up steps the disappointing so far Babe Ruth. So there's some players for sure that are definitely underperforming in this league. Babe Ruth steps up. We've seen the Babe on this channel quite a few times. Here we go. 236 average, 7 home runs, 17 RBIs. Here's the 1-1 from Warnock, and that's laced up the middle and through Wagner for a base hit. So bases are loaded here with Mudville nines. George Foster steps in. Bases loaded. 1-1 pitch from Warnock and another line drive, and Lloyd will score. And another run comes in. So this one getting ugly early. 2-0 Mudville Sharks. There's Darren Evans, very underrated player. Could he be in the Hall of Fame? He steps in now. Welcome to anybody that's watching us later on. It is 10:17 in the UK. So possibly just after 6 in the US. Eastern Standard Time. So here we go. Here's Evans. Evans steps in, bases loaded. 2-2 from Warnock. Struck him out. 2 away. Brings up Leon Day, batting .429. In 21 at-bats, he's had 9 hits. Known as a pitcher. Negro Liga. Molina on deck, bases loaded. Warnock gets a sign from Perez. Warnock with the first pitch, fastball. Ground ball between first and second. Hornsby moved to his left and fields it to first. Out. So 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors after 1.5 an inning. Mudville 2, Arlington coming to bat nothing. Here's Kolf. He'll get this inning started. Batting .225 overall. Here's a 2-2 from Pete. And there's a base hit for Benny Kolf. So, Benny Kolf, I'll just turn that down. I'm not sure which way around it goes. I really am struggling here with my, let's try that way, let's see what happens. Mudville off to a great start. Let's try it all the way down, because I can't tell left and right if which one's high, which one's low. Logically, I would say that would be loud. To the right must mean turn it up, right? That's kind of a clockwise thing. Alright, there we go. Here's Wagner. Batting .252. Oh, I'm losing it. And I have totally lost it there. Bear with me, it should return very quickly. I knew I was having problems with that. It's just to resume game. So apologies for that. I was playing around with my volume. Let's have a look. Jersey at Manchester. Oh my god. Oh my god. It was Mudville. Where's Mudville? Mudville at Arlington. Right, so I'm going to have to stop and start again. This is a reminder to my good self. Yeah, I know, a mute button would be really fantastic. So I'm just going to have to do that again. Where is it gone? Detroit at Mudville. So maybe because the game wasn't old enough. Okay, we'll continue. Hello, Clear Baseball fan. I will just do that again. In fact, I will just do what I was going to do before. Schedule a game and just autoplay it and just start a new one. So we had some games today. Manchester beat Detroit 6-4. Jersey beat Cleveland 9-2. I was going to do this one, but ran into some sound difficulties. So I'm going to auto it out. Mudville should still do relatively well. And they do, so nothing lost there. 6-5. Mudville, Beatles Eternal is Mudville, still beating Arlington. Wow. 6-5 regardless. So here we go. And Arlington this time got off to a better start. Mudville came back, thank God. And the integrity of the game is maintained. So Willie Keeler went 2 for 5. Jimmy Fox 3 for 4. Darrell Evans, Mr. Feast or Famine, 1 for 4. Pete Alexander got the win, as he was looking like he was going to get early on. And Luna Wernicke went 2 for 4. Benny Koff, we really need to see these Arlington boys step up their game or be traded. You either want to be here or you don't. Or 2 for 4. Rogers Hornsby 2 for 3. Hornsby and Greenberg and Wagner, really, just not performing anywhere near. None of them are. It's a shame. Real shame. Lou Wernicke goes to 2 and 4. And Pete Alexander, masterful pitcher, is 6 and 1. So here we go. I definitely think the controls should be better for sound. So let's go to the next day and see if there's anything attractive. So I'm just moving the league along. I might not even actually play a physical game. Let's just see. So this day has more. So Cleveland and Jersey. I've seen a lot of Jersey. I've seen a lot of Cleveland. Badlands are really good to watch, but at their own place. Des Moines. I haven't seen Des Moines for a while. Mudville I've seen, and Arlington I've seen. I do like watching Mudville, however. But it's not just about me, is it? North Sound and Hawaii is a great game there. In fact, we'll play that one, and we'll auto these ones. So here we go. Jersey lose 6-7 with Cleveland. Dick Radat's coming on in relief, it looks like there. And we can definitely say the BBX is working because Tom Seaver was an adjustment, and that's worked. Brett 3 for 5, Hartley 2 for 4, Wells 2 for 3. Seaver took the loss, pitched well enough, I suppose. The actual winning pitcher was McQuillan. No, it was Radatz. McQuillan is a good player from what I've learned from this game. Joyce 1 for 3. Still not performing anywhere near what he could. So some troubles here. Cleveland is doing a magnificent job. Now anyone who says the AA is not great, I'm telling you, although we fixed it for Todd the other day, myself and Clue, it's largely because we worked out the AI. And it seems to have worked really well for him. And also, thanks Steve and Beatles, particularly Steve on the training of the BBX. But also, we did a bit of, deep-rooted investigation into how the main league file is important, so important. But more importantly, how you set up your depth chart really does have a massive effect. Because all of these connections on the AI do interconnect, and some override others, and it can be complex. But actually, just by breaking it down and problem solving step by step, we were able to, work it out quite well, in my opinion. Next one is Badlands took another loss, this time to Des Moines. Des Moines with Jack Feaster getting the win. Ryans was knocked out pretty early. And Jack Feaster went 9 innings, 6. Nice play from him. Des Moines, nice steady team, I have to say. Defensively, probably the best, although it doesn't say so statistically yet. Their lineup has got some really excellent defensive players. Harlan Cliff really is coming into his own now. Edgar Renteria, 2 for 5. Frank Robinson, who has given me the most pleasure in this game, watching a game with him, hitting in the bottom of the extra innings for walk-off 2-run home run. That was sensational. He's doing well. Stanton surprisingly holding his own, but Andrew Jones, he's not doing well at all. He strikes out quite a bit. So Des Moines, which I think is Rob's team, holding their own at 16 and 14. Just showing these box scores, we saw Mudville take down Arlington, so let's do another one. And Mudville once again stepping their foot on the accelerator, beat Arlington again. So I'm getting used to these players now, and they've got one secret weapon on the bench here, Muddy Rule, who has hardly played many games. Now he steps up and he does his thing. Fresh. George Foster 2 for 4. Jimmy Fox 1 for 4. Casey gets the win, and poor Hippo Vaughan yet again is abused. I shouldn't say that. It's 6 innings pitched, 10 innings. It wasn't great. In fact, he had minor stuff today. But I feel sorry for it. There's no run support. It's just nothing. Robbie, if you do see this, if you want to make some changes, or the commission to make some changes, or make your own change, just fire them in Discord, and we'll get it sorted for you. Because I know you've got more great knowledge to show. And this team isn't over. So 6-24 doesn't look great. Eric Davis showing signs of life, but still batting under 200. Calf is, for me, the big surprise. But really, Honus Wagner, Beatles is divorced Honus Wagner at this stage. And Greenberg, again, nothing special. So that's that. I think your third base issue will cost as well down the line. So, Robbie, if you want any suggestions, or you don't need my suggestions, I just think you need a third baseman, to be honest with you, to give you a chance. Which brings us to North Sound versus Hawaii. So we'll play that one out, shall we? Nice. This is at the Hawaii Stadium, which is Polo Grounds, which I do have some pictures for. Thank you, Beatles, for posting a link to the Out of the Park link, which has ballparks from MLB The Show, I think you said. I saw it somewhere in Discord, so thank you for that. So, it's going to be North Sound at Hawaii. North Sound, this is John's team. No, D. Scott Howard's team. I was getting mixed up. Sorry, D. Scott. But there is a lineup here for the Volcanoes, just to make sure it's versus righties. Done it, and this team is playing against right. This team is playing against Antonelli, so it should be a loader lefty. Computer will take care of it, and that's what they've suggested. Okay, Campy needs a rest, so Bob Boone is in there, so the AI taking care of that. Frankie Frisch is injured. So the only one really could have been Ben Chapman, but instead of Chapman, Babe Herman's getting a run out today. Let's have a look at Chapman's usage. And again, this depends on what he's actually okay. But this is being managed by D. Scott Howard, so that's all good. So we're all good, we're all set, we're all good to go. I have sobered up just a little bit better. 1 second, a little bit of water. Note to self, don't broadcast when you've been out in the sun having a beer. Here we go. Hello and welcome everyone to the Polo Grounds 5 for tonight's game between North Sound and Hawaii. Hawaii has lost 5 straight and 8 of their last 10. They really have been struggling. Johnny Wright will start for North Sound. He's made 7 starts on the year and is 5-2 with an ERA of 2.35. This is his first start against Hawaii. He'll be opposed by Johnny Antonelli, one of my favorites. He's made 4 starts on the year, 1-3, with an ERA of 9.75. Oh, Johnny. His first start against North Sound. Hawaii's designated hitter, Juan Soto, is riding an 18-game hitting streak. And Soto is batting... What is he batting, actually? He's batting... It's over 400, easily. Let's play ball. This is one of my favorite stadiums to broadcast in because of the look, and I think the look does play a part in the immersion. Clearly, we all know that, but even for me as a streamer, it makes a lot of difference. I'm hoping those photos are big enough. Now, we saw that I had a few issues with me tampering with the sound. I'll leave it alone this time. But I will make the pictures just a little bit better and bigger. There we go. So, let's play ball. Leading off will be Snuffy Sternweiss. And I was reading about Snuffy Sternweiss just the other night. Beatles recommended that book. I forgot the name of the book. It's about dream teams. It's an amazing book. I'd read a book many years ago about the greatest books of all baseball teams of all time by Rob Nair. This references Rob Nair, but this book is really good. The Snuffy Sternweiss made the squad. Here's the 0-2 though from Johnny Antonelli, and Antonelli strikes him out. So Antonelli is a player I played with with the Giants in Dave Cox or Cook's history collection. I played with Steve Tate's Slices, and I think it's the 51 Giants or maybe the 54 Giants or both. He's really good for me, just unbeatable. But this is a different league, different standard of opposition. Lefty, which doesn't bode well in a league like this. And maybe we should have clicked lefties not to get a little bump. Now, I'm not sure what the logic was behind that. I kind of know it, but we didn't click it. So the lefties are probably a little bit penalised. I still haven't quite worked out the logic of that. Anyway, one away. Let's take a look at who's in the field. Piazza is behind the plate. Jim Gentle is at first. Second base is Nap Lajoie, having a interesting season. Hasn't caught fire yet. Shortstop is Ripken, again another one who struggled for Hawaii. In the first couple of weeks, these teams was on fire, but not lately. Al Rosen, batting .295, is at third, an excellent third baseman for them. I think Al Rosen is great for these type of leagues. Tipo, if you're doing salary, he's good. If you're doing backup, he's good. But offensively, he's a disruptor. Tip O'Neill in left field. Oscar Charles, the great Oscar Charles, still not quite playing to his level. And in right field, don't knock the rock, Rocky Colavito from Cleveland. So stepping up now is George Sisler. One out here for no sound. He's hitting .270. 5 home runs with 17 RBIs. The infield's in at the corners. Here's one ball and no strikes. It's straight to Ripken. He pecks it to first, and that's 2 away. George Sisler, another man I need to look up. I've heard of him. Don't really know too much about him. Was he in the dead ball era? I don't know, but I'll have a quick look. A butcher's hook at George Sisler. He looks like a dead ball player to me. 1919 Sportsman's Park, gorgeous George Sisler. Nice that Steve has rendered these wonderful photos, and I'm sure Beatles will wax lyrical about George Sisler. Here's Ernie Banks stepping up now, batting .300. .366 against lefties. And Tonelli toes the rubber. 1 and 2 from Johnny, and Johnny gets out of the inning. He rings him up there with a fastball. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 1.5 innings, North Sound nothing. Hawaii coming to bat nothing. And it's going to be led off by Juan Soto. I like the name. It conjures up an image for me. Really like him playing in this league. He comes across in real life very humbly. I really like him. On the mound is Wright. This is Johnny Wright on the season. It's 5 and 2. With a 2.35 ERA. Johnny, working behind, or working in front of, an infield of Sisler, Steinweiss, Banks at short, Glaus at third, very good Troy Glaus this season. Left field is Ryan Braun, not having a great season, Ryan Braun. Turkey Stearns in center field. Right field, Babe Herman getting a rare start. And behind the plate, Bob Boone. Here we go. Batting .430 against right-handers is Juan Soto. Right is set. Here's the 3-2. And they pop up high in the sky, and it will drop down like a heavy rock. It just literally fell out of the sky. Back down to Sisler at first. That's 1 away. Hitting second is Tip O'Neill. He's batting .321 in May. Here's the payoff, and it's knocked foul. Charleston on deck. Right sets. Here's the 3-2. Off speed, smashed on the ground. Glass goes to his left, fields it across the diamond. Out. 2 away here for Hawaii, trying to arrest this horrific slump. Leading off, coming up next is Oscar Charleston. Charleston at the plate, batting .280. 7 home runs and 25 ribbies. 10th in the league with 25 ribbies. Here's the first offer from right, and a deep fly ball out to right field. And Herman makes the catch to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors after 1 inning. North South nothing, Hawaii nothing. Antonelli takes the mound now for the beginning of the second inning. 0-2 to count from Antonelli to Glaus, and he strikes out Troy Glaus. Third strikeout for Antonelli. Maybe this is one of those days. Friend Johnny. Coming in from the left-hand side, there's Babe Herman. Braun is up next. Here's the 0-1 from Antonelli. A 2-hopper to Lajoie, who throws at the first to retire Herman. That's 2 out. Brings up Ryan Braun, a man I just do not like him. I don't know why I don't like him. I just don't like him. Don't like him. Sorry for any Brewers fans. I just think, after all of the scandals and all of the derision and all of the stuff, the damage it did to baseball, that man was not part of that era and still cheated. It's just a height of selfishness and, I believe, stupidity and greed. Anyway, Braun is batting .193, 5 home runs and 13 ribbies. He's just batting .143 in May. Here's the 1-1. And Braun hits a rope down the first field baseline, foul ball. Come on, Johnny, do something. 1-2 to count. And he deals Antonelli, and that's hit into the left field. Foul. 1-2 from Antonelli. Fastball, grounded between third and short. And a backhanded play by Ripken, and it's across the diamond for the out. Ends of the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. As Hawaii come to bat in the bottom of the second. Leading off for them will be Rocky Colavito. Here's the 1-2 from right. And Colavito chased a pitch out of the zone, and Wright gets the strikeout. Brings up Jim Gentle. Batting .248 on the year. 6 home runs and 12 RBIs. Here's the 1-0 from Wright. On the ground to Sister. At first he'll take it to the bag himself. And that's another out. 2 out, quick succession here. The Volcanoes struggling. Nat Lajoie comes to the plate. Now, what is wrong with Lajoie? Here's the 0-2 from right. Curveball. Struck him out. Now, what is wrong with Nat Lajoie? There's something wrong. Why is he batting so badly? Anyway, takes us to the top of the third inning in this fast-moving game. Leading off is Turkey Stearns, a Negro Leaguer that I expect to do even better than he already is doing. Here we go. Stearns leading off. Here's the 0-1 from Antonelli. And he hits a liner to right. Colavito is not going to get it, so it goes for extra bases. And Stearns with a stand-up double to lead off the inning for the North Sound Lumberjacks. Brings up Bob Boone, batting .308. He's batting .360 against lefties. Runner on second. Here's the 1-0 from Johnny. Boone swings, smash on the ground through the middle. Diving stop by Ripken to Gentle at first. But Stearns will get to third as the out is recorded at first. So 1 out here for the Lumberjacks, but a man at third in Turkey Stearns. Brings up the very underrated Ken Williams. Ken Williams is from 1924. Had 141 OPS plus. He steps in from the left-hand side. Runner on third. Here's the 0-1 from Johnny Antonelli. The pitch. Deep fly ball down the right field line, but Colavito has this one at the fence. He leaps and catches, and Colavito won't even make an attempt as a runner scores. So, Stern scores there from third, and a run is on the board for the Volcanoes. 2 men out, though, but they got the important go-ahead run. So, Johnny Antonelli waits as Sternweiss steps in. Antonelli stares in. The count is 1-1. And Sternweiss rips this to right field, and he will get a double. He's actually going for 3, and he will get a stand-up triple. So, Snuffy Sternweiss, who I keep calling Stuffy, is at third. Hey, Ken Castro, who owns these clubs? So, Lawrence, who was brought in, I think, by Steve, owns the yellow jersey wearing Hawaii Volcanoes. D. Scott Howard manages the North Sound Lumberjacks. So, welcome, Ken Castro. The Volcanoes story is that they leapt into a great lead to start the league. In fact, they looked unbeatable. And the big story with them is the performance of Juan Soto at DH, who is on an 18-game hitting streak and is batting over 400. Now, they've gone into a slump. I think it's 13 of the last 15 games they've lost. I mean, it's incredible what's happened. I can't quite work out why, other than maybe a few of us have made some adjustments to our lineups. And yeah, we've seemed to perform better. The North Sound Lumberjacks, carefully and lovingly put together by D. Scott Howard. I think we in the league chose the team. I think he joined in and did a couple of trades, and he set the lineups and the depth chart. And the North Sound Lumberjacks are doing very well. Thank you very much. So, Ken Castro just asking a casual question. So here's George Sisler, a man who, like I said earlier, I'd like to know a little bit more about. He steps in, runner on third. 0-1 to count from Antonelli. A deep fly ball to right. Colavito going back, and he makes the catch for out number 3. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors. After 2.5 innings, North Sound 1, Hawaii nothing. So, stepping up now to lead off the bottom of the third is Al Rosen. Piazza on deck. Here's the 2-2 from right. Hit straight at Banks. Banks backhanded across the diamond, and Rosen is out. 1 away. So Johnny Wright, one of the hidden stories of the league so far, is 5-2 on the season with 2.27 ERA. Nice pickup here by the North Sound team. Here's Mike Piazza batting 280 with 9 home runs and 23 ribbies, hitting 271 in the air. Here's Wright with the 1-2. And a deep fly ball to right center field, but Turkey Stearns is eating up the yards, and he makes the catch. Great Negro Leaguer, Turkey Stearns, one of the best of all time. Not sure if he's in the Hall of Fame. Babe Herman, a great hitter, not great fielder, though in this game he's represented with a 6 and a 9, so he's actually not that bad. The year he's coming from. This is Babe Herman from 1932, and I'm sure the Ken Burns documentary does a little section on Babe Herman, saying how bad he was in the field, so that's interesting to see. Leading off is Cal Ripken, batting a terrible 170. Not leading off, at bat. 171 in May. Here's Wright with a 2-1. A frozen rope to short, caught by Banks. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 3, North Sound 1, Hawaii nothing. Can these Volcanoes turn around this inexplicable slump? It's not like they got injuries, it's just don't understand. Or unless it's just not adjusting. This is Lawrence now, who hasn't seen him for a couple of days, to the fact that everyone's adjusting fairly regularly. Certainly myself, Clue, and also Mudville's been adjusted, and everyone's been adjusted just ever so slightly to suit the players and the ballpark. Now, Lawrence did obviously a great draft, so maybe it's just a little bit of tweaking. Lawrence, if you hear this or you pick up, just send in your instructions to myself or Beatles. But I think I know I've got the main file, so the adjustments have to come via the main file. then it just transfers from the BBX, and then once Beatles gets it, he's got it as well. It's like a virus, really. Here's Antonelli on the mound. Banks will lead off the inning. Here's the 2-2, and he rips a base hit between first and second. And Rocky Colavito, getting some work in right field, will fire it back in. So Banks on base. Brings up Troy Glaus. Now, I don't know much about Troy Glaus, but he's definitely having a good season. Herman is on deck. Runner on first. Antonelli with the first pitch. Banks is going for second. The pitch is a strike. Piazza throws down, and Lajoie applies a tag, and he's out. The runner is out. So Banks thrown out there by Mike Piazza. Nice work by Nap Lajoie. Here's Antonelli. Ground ball down the line. Diving play by Rosen over to Gentle, and he's out. Nice play by Alan Rosen at third. Only rated a 6, but he did a great diving stop. I would be keen to see Dave Cook come online. I might ask him and just say, join the Beatles television channel and have a chat. Why not? We can only ask. We're so interested to hear the thought process behind this. Here's Herman against something. Here's the 0-1. Fastball. A grounder to short. Ripken has it over to Gentle. And that's another out. So after 3.5 innings, North Sound 1, Hawaii nothing. Soto will get the inning started now. And he pops up straight away. And that's an out as Sisler gets it, but he's limping from first base there. Now he's slightly injured. I can see INJ over his name. But he's in the ball game. Interesting. So 1 out here for the Volcanoes. Let's see now what Lawrence's team can do. Wright cruising along at the moment, but still only 1-0. 2-1. The pitch. And a swing and a base hit. So the no-hitter is broken up. I didn't want to say it. And as I thought it is a base hit. So sorry, Johnny. Johnny Wright there with having a base hit against him. And brings up Oscar Charleston. So the man on second is Tip O'Neill. In a calm evening game here, or day game, late afternoon game here at Polo Grounds. It's nice and sunny and calm. Here we go. Wright with a runner on second. Gets a sign from Boone. Here's the 1-1. And a well-hit fly ball down the right field, and that one is gone. Gone. Herman made a little look at it and gave up real early. 269-foot home run by Oscar Charleston, his 8th of the year. That one catching everyone by surprise. It's been such a calm game with Johnny Wright pitching really well, and all of a sudden gives up a hit and then gives up a home run. So 2 runs on the board for the Volcanoes. Brings up Rocky Colavito. Nobody on. 0-1 count. And a high fly ball to left field this time, but Ryan Braun will have it for the Lumberjacks in the outfield, and that's 2 away. So Johnny Wright has kind of lulled everyone into a sense of calmness with the way he was pitching quickly, and then suddenly Charleston, the great Negro Leaguer, caught up with him and sent it over Babe Herman's head into that short right field porch. Here's Jim Gentle, who D. Scott Howard was educating me on how to say his name. Hope I'll said it right this time. Gentle now at the bat, nobody on, 3-2 count. High pop up, and Banks is going for it. Waves off Sternweiss in the infield, and that's another out to end the inning. But 2-run score and 2 hits, no errors. We've played 4, Hawaii 2, North Sound 1. So Johnny Antonelli has some work, a run to play with. Antonelli, one of my favorite players. Look at that photo. And leading off is Ryan Braun. Boo! He's batting .212 against lefties. Grounded to short in the second. Here's a 2-2. Up the middle. Base hit. So Ryan Braun gets a base hit up the middle. Lajoie lunged for it, couldn't get it. And Charleston picks it up and fires it back in. So Braun on first. Brings up Turkey Stearns, 1 for 1. Stearns at the plate. doubled and scored in the third. Runner on first. Here's the 1-2. Struck out. So nice pitch there. Nice fastball. Catching the man out there. Stearns out, and he will sit down. That's one away, but Braun is on first. Lumberjacks trying to come back into it already. Bob Boone at the plate. 4 strikeouts from Antonelli. Runner on first. Here's the 1-1. There goes Braun. Hit up the middle. Ripken goes to his left, feels it. His only play is to first, and Braun will go to second. So 2 out. Got Braun at second in scoring position. Brings up Ken Williams. Antonelli fires to second to keep Braun in place, and he has done so. And Williams will step back in. Runner on second. Here's the 3-2 from Antonelli. Curveball, low and outside the zone, and Antonelli issues the base on balls, and Williams will go to first. So man on first, man on second. Antonelli with his first walk of the game. 5th inning, Volcanoes lead 2-1 over North Sound. Volcanoes trying to stop this terrible slump. Here's Sternweiss at the plate. 1 first and second. Here's the 0-1. And a line drive down the first base line, and Colavito's at work again in right field. Braun will score. Williams will score. Here comes the throw, but Ripken cuts it off, and Sternweiss is at third. So a triple for Snuffy Sternweiss. Wow, he's done well today. So North Sound go back ahead, 3-2. Antonelli squandering the lead already, as George Sister comes out with 2 outs. But they lead 3-2 here in the top of the 5th. Sister fly to deep right field in the third. Man on third, count is 2-2. Here's the changeup, and he strikes out Sizzler. Sizzler struck way too early there for the ball, and looks stupid as he sits back down on the bench. Another Howie Shanks League game here at the moment. You can catch later broadcasts on Beatles Eternally's wonderful channel. And Steve Tate when he also returns. Here's Johnny Wright now on the mound, and leading off is Nap Lajoie, mysteriously underperforming. He's leading off, struck out in the second. Wright is now turning the rubber. Here's the 0-1. And once again, a shallow fly ball to right center. And a great play by Turkey Stearns as he dived a little early, but a bit of showboating from Turkey Stearns as he comes up with a big smile on his face. But Lajoie trots back to the dugout shaking his head. What is wrong with Nat Lajoie? And it's affected the whole team. You know? Here's Al Rosen. Another bat who's cooled off. 0 for 1. He's coming from the right-hand side. Piazza on deck. Wright has only thrown 64 pitches. 1-2 from Wright. And this is ripped to left field. This could go from Rosen, but no. Ryan Braun on the track puts it away. I thought Rosen had put enough juice on that one to get that one out of here to that 280 left field porch, but just got under it, and Braun was able to use his speed to catch up with it. 2 away. Stepping in is Mike Piazza, batting .278, 9 home runs, 23 RBIs on this season. Is the 3-1 from Wright, and Piazza hits this in center field, but Turkey's got it measured, and that one is out. End of the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors after 5 complete. North Sound 3. Lawrence's Hawaii Volcanoes 2. D. Scott Howard will be fairly happy with this at the moment. Antonelli comes back out for the 6th inning. Bernie Banks will lead off. Here's the 1-1 from Antonelli. Here's the windup, the pitch. It's a cutter. Line drive to first, and Gentle has it straight away. That went straight to Jim Gentle at first. Antonelli studies the ball as he paces around the mound as Troy Glaus digs in. Antonelli has the sign now. He shakes that one off. Now he's got one he likes. Here's a 2-2, and Glaus cuts this, and that one is going to be ripped out of here. Troy Glaus, who's having a superb season, caught one there from Antonelli, and that went 294. That was out of here in a hurry. Wow. So hush over the crowd here at Volcanoes. This is looking like another inexplicable defeat. But it's earlier. Maybe I'm writing them off too early. Lawrence has built this team for a reason. And the way he's done it, he's got power, he's got speed, he's got stars, he's got pitching. In that bullpen, there's a little bit of movement here, but maybe that's the weakness. Because I've seen Melton get starched. So, let's have a look. Herman comes in, batting from the left-hand side. Antonelli takes a sign from Piazza. There's a 2-2. And a shallow fly ball to right, and Colavito runs in, and he has it measured to make the first. Rocky Colavito has been very busy out there in right field today. There's Ryan Braun. 1 for 2, 2 out here for North Sound. They lead 4-2. Braun at the plate. Singled and scored. Here's the 2-2 from Antonelli. Fastball and a ground ball to first. Gentle has it, flips it to Antonelli, and Braun is out. So Sisler looks like he's playing with that injury because he's still saying injured. So there must be a little penalty against him for the game alone. Like maybe underperformance, maybe? Here's Ripken. Batting 168 with 3 home runs and 6 RBIs. Here's the 0-2 from right and struck him out. This right just looks so easy. So cool. Just, not hard thrower. I need to know a little bit more about Johnny Wright. So Johnny Wright here, who's got a record in the league of 5-2. Looks like a control pitcher to me. Here is Juan Soto, 18-game hitting streak on the line. 0 for 2 today. Soto popped out in the 4th. Here's Wright with the 0-2. And that is tamely hit as a blooper to first. Right at Sisler. So 0 for 3 for Soto today. 2 out. Bottom of the 6th. Tip O'Neill at the plate. He doubled and scored in the 4th. Wright is ready. Here's the 0-2 from Wright. Cutter and a frozen rope. It's straight down the middle and O'Neill is on first. O'Neill rounds first, but will come back to the bag. Stearns had a bit of trouble collecting it, actually. But there was no error there. So 1 man on for the Volcanoes. Won't take long to tie the ball game as a tie run comes to the plate. Charles has already hit a home run in this ball game. Wright fires over to first to keep O'Neill safe. Here's the 1-2 to Charleston. Grounder between first and short. Sternweiss, lovely play there as he dived to his left, got up through the first, and Charleston is thrown out. End of the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. After 6 innings, North Sound 4, Hawaii 2. And it looks like Sisler, we've been told, has recovered from his injury. Nice day here at the Polo Grounds. Sunshine in, you can see the shadows in left field. Great ballpark, that funny design in center field. 505 feet to the wall. Nice and calm. Here we go. Sternweiss will lead off the inning. Struck out in the 5th. Stearns will lead off the inning, I should say. And Stearns pops it up. And that's 1 away. Johnny Antonelli so far has pitched 6 innings, given up 6 hits, 5 strikeouts and 1 walk, but he has given up a home run. Boone steps in. Grounded to short in the 5th. Here's the 1-0 from Antonelli. Lajoie dives to his left, and when he's grounded, gathers it and will throw it to first to retire Boone. Brings up Ken Williams. Nobody on. Antonelli just working through the inning. Williams to the plate. Bats 300 against lefties. He walked and scored in the fifth. Antonelli gets a sign from Piazza. Wheels and deals. There's the 0-2. Williams cuts it. And a deep fly ball down the right field line. It's got a chance to go. And it is gone. Ken Williams takes Antonelli yard. And the woes continue for the Hawaii Volcanoes. Wow. Or maybe they started their season against Badlands in Arlington. I don't mean it in a disparaging way. And their record was a little bit misleading. Now they're running into other teams. Possibly this is a hypothesis as to why, but there's no excuse for Lajoie not playing well. Anyway, Stuffy Sternweiss at the plate. Sternweiss struggling in the first, triple in the third, drove in two and a triple in the fifth. The lefty stares in, and he walks him. So Sternweiss has had two triples today. Is now walked to first. Sister at the plate was injured earlier on in the game. Antonelli throws over to keep Sternweiss quiet. Gentle puts a heavy tag on Sternweiss. Snuffy gets up, all smiles. Sister ready. Runner on first. Antonelli with the 0-1. And a deep fly ball down the right field line. Colavito has it though. And the busy Rocky Colavito puts it away. But one run has scored on one hit, a home run. No errors after 6.5 inning. North Sound. D. Scott Howard's North Sound 5. Hawaii 2. Leading off, Rocky Colavito. Right sets, deep, no, it's hit straight at Banks, over to Sisler, and that's one away. Really interesting is Johnny Wright. So, we definitely know the sounds are down in some areas, like rally sounds. I'll pump them up just a bit. There we go. Jim Gentle is there. As soon as I do that, here it comes. Right, waits for Gentle. Lajoie on deck. Gentle's ready. Lajoie ready. There's the 0-2. A deep fly ball down the right field line. Herman going back. But it just goes foul. Herman went up in right field, but it went foul. A heart-in-the-mouth moment there for the Lumberjacks. And Gentle will trot back to home plate. Lefty hitting Gentle. Batting .243 on the season with 6 home runs and 12 RBIs. Here's the 0-2 from Johnny Wright. High fly ball again. Herman racing back in right field. On the track, under it, and makes the grab for the out. 2 away now. So come on, Hawaii. Let's go. It's almost sad to see what's happened to Nap Lajoie. I fell in love with Lajoie in the Ned McGreevy League. But he's struggling. What's going on? Lajoie now at the plate. Fly to center in the fifth. Here's the 2-2 from Wright. Outside corner. Struck him out. I need an investigation into what's happening in that Lajoie. Struck out there by Johnny Wright. A player that I must see on out of the park now. That brings up Ernie Banks now. Very deep fly ball to center field to lead off the inning. And Oscar Charleston has it. 1 away. Yeah, Nap Lajoie, Beatles Eternally, told me all about him. I'd heard the name, of course. I'd played Earl Weaver in my day. But hearing the names and understanding their positioning, not just in the season, but in baseball history is another thing. So I've learned so much about baseball. Not just the players, but the owners, the socio-economic times they come from, the political time they come from as well, what was going on socially. It's a history of America, really, at least America in the last 100 years. It's a reflection of their society, in my opinion. Here's Triglass, 1 for 3. Struck out in the second, grounded to third in the fourth. Hit a solo home run off Antonelli in the sixth. Here's the 1-1. Antonelli kicks and throws. A deep fly ball down the left field line, but it's going foul. Like, I heard someone talk about Cap Anson in the Discord. So, we can look at it and say, well, Cap Anson was racist, and therefore is a racist. But that's, again, you could also argue that's through today's lens. He's only in the era he knows. And I agree with that to some extent. But then the question does become, if not a racist, was he ethical? Because anyone who's ethical, depending on which theory you follow, one theory being, you do unto others as you have done unto yourself. If you look at it that way, it's a slightly different perspective. Equally, from an ethical point of view, you could look at some actions that are deemed to be unsavory, is the best way to put it, or words that are said that are unsavory. But if you take the point of view that you are being ethical based on your beliefs, and that you were doing for all, you're sacrificing one or some for the greater good from your perspective, then you'd view it as ethical. History, however, does give it greater perspective. So I'm definitely of the it was in their time. Would Cap Anson have known better, or other players of that area? Probably not, truth be told. Even if they had great values and beliefs, which it sounds like most of them did not in that era of baseball. Bill James talks about the variety of characters that were around at that time, and I find it fascinating to listen to those debates. Either way, I make my own judgment, and I like them all, to be honest. In my universe, there's history, there's a bit of color in terms of personality, and it gets a great backstory to the league, to the players. Would Tip O'Neill have played alongside Oscar Charleston in real life at that time? Probably not. But now he gets a chance, as does Oscar get a chance to play with each other. There's no bias here. So even though Cap Anson may not be the most popular in terms of what he said back then, even though it still resonates, at the same time he can play in this league. And he's going to behave himself. So here's Triglass. Up and away, 3-2 count from Antonelli. And Glass will go to first. So I love reading. It's like O.J. Simpson. Committed whatever he committed or alleged to have committed. Do we not play him in our games? Of course we do. If you're playing, whichever football game you play and he's in it. Yeah, see, we have a different judgment system. It's very interesting, though. Does anyone ban players from their replays because of situations like that? Here we go. So Lundgren is coming in now for Antonelli. So Hawaii making a change. Lundgren checks first. There's a deep fly ball by Babe Herman. Colavito has it. So Colavito probably lose some weight out there today. Been so busy. As North Sound still lead 5-2. Braun is coming in now. Braun trying to get over 200. Lundgren. Now, which Lundgren is this? Love the photo. This Lundgren is Carl Lundgren from 1907 West Side Park. He started that can pitch relief. Ground ball pitcher. So, on the season, he's actually quite a good player, actually, looking at the size of him. He had a 1.17 ERA with a 1.072 whip. So here we go. Braun at the plate. Runner on first. Lundgren is ready. Here's the 1-0. And slapped on the ground to the right-hand side. Lajoie has it. And that is the end of the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors after 7.5. North Sound 5, Hawaii 2. So Wright still on the mound. Johnny Wright looking exceptionally well today. He's pitched exceptionally well. And Al Rosen struggling a little bit, 0 for 2 at the plate. Rosen will lead off the inning. Fly to deep left field in the fifth. Here's the 1-1 from right. It's popped up. And Boone going back for it, but it's out of play. Here's Al Rosen again. Right is ready. Here's the 1-2. A grounder down the first base line. Diving step by Sisley. Steps on first for the out. What a play by George Sisler to get the out. As I lower my voice just ever so slowly. I've got the windows open and my neighbors were thinking, why oh why is Mark broadcasting in the middle of the night? Here we go. Mike Piazza 0 for 2. Here's a 2-1 and Piazza rips it to left field. This might be, it could be. And Hawaii pulled back another run on the power of Mike Piazza. Home run, 5-3. 296 feet. 10th home run of the season for Mike Piazza. So excellent play then. Johnny Wright gives a potato just when he was about to say to the league, to the game, see you later. He gives up a home run. Nice home run there. I wish I could do replay, which Beatles seems to do very easily. I can't find the replay button. I wish I could. R. What about R? I can see it in text, but I can't see it in a. Oh well. Here's Ripken, 0 for 2. 1 out. 8th inning. Volcano's trying to come back now. Here's the 2-2. And a fastball by Wright gets him out of there. 2 out. And that brings up Juan Soto, probably his last chance to keep his 18-game hitting streak alive. Soto batting .410. And as Soto digs in, Wright is ready. Here's the 2-2. Just catches the in-court corner, and he is struck out. Juan Soto flips his bat in the air, has a wry smile on his face, as his hitting streak looks to be over. So, 1 run, 1 hit, no errors after 8 innings. North Sound 5, Hawaii 3. Turkey Stearns comes in, batting from the left-hand side. Great Negro Leaguer. He will lead off. Here's the 3-0. And Lundgren walks him on a 3-0 count. Stearns laid off that last pitch, taking all the way, and he's now at first. Brings up Ken Williams is on deck, and Bob Boone is at bat. Boone looking to bunt Stearns along. Infield in at the corners. Runner on first. Here's the cutter. Boone bunts it on the ground. And an easy chance for Gentle there. But he's only plays first. He throws to Lajoie covering, who couldn't get the run of Stearns. So a bit of small ball working there. So Stearns on second in scoring position. North Sound trying to pat their lead, which is quite obvious. Ken Williams coming from the left-hand side. He drew a walk last time he was up. He drew a walk and he's hit a solo home run. In fact, they are now going to walk him. So Lawrence, at the top of his dugout, has decided to walk Ken Williams to get to Sternweiss, who's having a terrific game today. Snuffy today has been outstanding at 2 for 3 with 2 triples, 2 RBIs. Is this smart? Is this clever? Going for the double play, possibly. Sternweiss to face London. What is it? First and second. Here's a 2-0. And Rosen is drifting back a bit, but he gets it. And he makes the catch. So hit straight at Rosen. So good choice by Lawrence. But runner still at second and first. Sisler having a dry day today. 0 for 4. Batting .261 on the season. He's 250 in total with 2 out. Here's the 1-0 and a grounder to base hit. And Stearns is looking to come round, and Stearns will score. So George Sizzler breaks free. And Stern scores 6-3 North Sound as Ernie Banks steps up. Banks has a chance to put the game away, it says. He's hitting 250 a bay. Here's the 1-2. And he was not what he was looking for. And he's out of there. So the bottom of the ninth inning is up. North Sound are leading 6-3. There's Tip O'Neill with Oscar Charleston coming up next. Tip O'Neill lined a single up the middle, and he had a double in the fourth. 2 for 3 today. Johnny Wright still on the mound, looking for the complete game. Here's the 0-2 from Wright, and he struck him out. O'Neill struck out with a fastball from Johnny Wright. I like Johnny Wright every time I see him. 7 Ks for Wright. Brings up Oscar Charleston from the left-hand side. Oscar grounds a second last time up. Colavito on deck. Here's the 2-0 from Wright. Here's the pitch. Curveball. And it's hit to Sternwise, who gloves it and throws to first for the out. So 2 out, down to the last out. Rocky Colavito, who seems to be overmatched. But I don't see why, other than he will strike out quite a bit. I don't think he does. And this is Rocky Colavito's card. Lovingly crafted by Steve Tate. Ball game down to this one. Unless he can drive in or get on base and Gentle drives them another run. But it's not looking good. Here we go. Colavito against Wright. Here's the 0-2. And a deep fly ball to the left-hand side, but it's foul. So Rocky got everyone off his feet there, hoisted that one high in the air. Braun was chased after it, but it went foul. So we do it again. Wright looks in. Boone gives the sign. It's a 3-2. High and outside, and Colavito draws the walk. So, is there a rally for Hawaii? In a couple of runs. Gentle steps in. 0 for 3. Wright with just his first walk of the ball game. Runner on first. Here's the 3-2. A blooper towards first, and that's straight to Sizzler. Ball game over. No runs, no hits, no errors in that inning. That's it from the Polo Grounds. North Sound come into the slumping Hawaii team and win 6-3. So, D. Scott Howard, well done. Lawrence, I'm not sure what the hell is going on. It's fun to watch these games, to be honest, if not mine. I do like watching mine, but they have to be broadcast, of course. Hint, 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 hint. I want to see them soon. I have seen a lot of work boats, to be fair. Everybody get a chance. So, the North Sound won 17 to go to 17-3 now. That was a solid ball game by Johnny Wright. What an ace. He has turned a bit, and his stuff was plus. Now, funny enough, that's the first time I've seen it, where I broadcast a game, and you can see, but you could feel it. You know, you could just feel it. It was not many balls, it was lots of strikes. You could just feel that he had his stuff. The big news is that Juan Soto, Howard's hitless. I mean, it really does need a deep dive into Hawaii. What the hell has gone wrong? Solid team. So, here we go. Looking forward to season 2, or what we do next, as we race through this. We're in month 2. We've got a fair clip. Probably slow down just a bit because work has intervened with myself and Beatles, and Steve's on holiday. I'll be on holiday soon myself. Well deserved, even if I say so myself. So Detroit lead 18-10. Let's just have a look first. Let's make sure all the games are played. Not yet, I don't think. Wait a second. That was the 4. Let's go back. Yeah, that's what we just played. Just making sure. Box, 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 box. As I like to say out loud. Friday the 15th. More of the same. I do not want to see that one. There's no Mudville. No sound. I did like what. Oh, that's a good one. Now that is one to play. Oh my god, do I play it now? I don't have the energy, so what I'm going to do is leave that for Beatles. So Beatles is a good one here. Koufax Verlander, Marichal Gooden. You've got Clarkson and Wood. In fact, you've got good games all the way through, you lucky devil. So I will stop there and pass the baton on. But as I have the league file, I'll stay online for about 10 minutes. If anyone does join in or want to adjust their team, I will put them all on screen. So very quickly, Detroit. Is this anyone who needs rest? I don't know how we've managed this, but no one needs rest on Steve's one at all. But just looking at the league as it is, Detroit 18-10. It's only a game ahead of Beatles eternally, one game. Big Clue is up there. So the three commissions of the league occupy three of the top four places. Conspiracy? No, I'm just playing. No, I'm not. Why are three of the... No, I'm just joking. This is interesting. I like that. Cleveland, 17-14. So good job there with Todd's team, because Todd's really having a terrible time with injuries. But again, this is the beauty of playing around. I mean, look at that. Al Simmons out for a long time. Ted Kluszewski, Joe Mara, and Ken Boyer. I mean, wow. He's getting sick. So what I did, and precluded, and actually Todd did, because he did recommend Kevin Mitchell be. But what I noticed, Beatles, just for you in particular, funny enough, he didn't play the other day, but now he's free. Kevin Mitchell. I do watch your games occasionally. And interesting, he wasn't active, but somehow he is active again. But it was when I got your BBX, I suppose because he's running off of my one, it made him free. But I'm sure I saw him play. Yes, he did play. And start for you, which he would. Just double check to make sure on your one, Beatles, he's active. I think he is. He definitely should be active, because that's what Todd wanted. But it was strange, because sometimes it does some stupidity stuff. Right, that's all good. So just double check it. That's just an integrity check for Beatles. So it'll help him as well. We've done a good job so far keeping it straight. Keep an eye on it, because it does have some quirky traits, this AI. What else is there to check? Let's check Arlington, because it's shocking. It's shocking. He needs a third baseman. So what I'm going to do, Robbie, it says allow the GM to make roster change. We're going to nix that for a second. We're going to do manager preferences. I would say occasionally shuffle players on pace to real life usage. That'll be sensible. Steve says, I'm still not quite sure about this, but I'll leave it at that. That is also wise for consistency. Leave your lineups as they are, because I'm not interfering with that. Just trying to give you the best chance to win better than what you've been doing, if I may. Press OK, just babysitting while you come back. It's clearly telling you to rest Jimmy Williams. But what I did, Robbie, with the other teams when I was helping them out, just to touch for the league purposes, is just looking at the depth chart. At the moment, against righty-lefty, you got Perez, which I'm sure is right, backed up by Sundberg and Fisher. That looks correct to me. Your first baseman is Dave Orr, or Don Baylor and Bruthers. I'm hoping that Bruthers gets a game over Dave Orr. Dave Orr, Philadelphia player. These are the two best first basemen, I guess, in the 19th century. Ken, if you're still out there somewhere in the ether, please let me know which one was best. You told me Dave Orr, but I'm a damn Bruthers man myself personally. The season that this is taken from is 1886, and he had an OPS of 176. However, look at his splits. Versus lefties, his OPS is 893, so versus righties is the same. I would hazard a big guess that Dan Bruthers' OPS is higher at, yes, I was right, versus righties. I was just about to say his OPS versus righties is far better than Dave Orr, but Dave Orr is a better fielder and therefore possibly the better first baseman. But if you want some offense, Robbie, and you saw him in the Ned McGreevy League, my recommendation is that you alter. This is just me. What do I know? Is that you either bring in Dan Bruthers as a DH somewhere, or let him play against righties instead of or. But that's just me until you get the right combination anyway. Your second baseman is Rogers Hornsby. I can't figure out what's wrong with him. But I would look at your second baseman, and to be fair, you really are buggered here, my friend. You haven't got much at all, have you? Wow. Jake Dunn is a shortstop from 1934, but he's not your darling at second, is he? Let's be honest, he's only a 4. Robbie, you need a second baseman and a third baseman. So if you are watching Robbie or you pick it up, I will definitely call you out in the Beatles channel soon. So that will be fun. Third baseman, Jimmy Williams, that's where you're weak. Shortstop Wagner, but Vern Stevens should be a place for him somewhere. So at the moment, your DH is Don Baylor. Let's have a look. But yet Don Baylor is inactive, so there's a big contradiction straight away there. So that is an issue. In fact, you have 4 inactive. You should have 5. So Beatles, I'm going to make an executive decision. Somebody has to go. It won't be his pitchers. It has to be someone else. He's got an issue here with only 4 people inactive. If I do this, which I think is fair for Robbie, and let the GM take charge, that's fair, rather than me doing it. Let the AI manage him. And this is what it would do. If you wanted to, you could set it to the manager, that is, to set it according to your pitching depth chart and how it's all set up on your depth charts. That's one way to do it. Generate Arlington manager. No, I'm not going to interfere with anything more other than to just broadcast what I've just said. But one decision needs to be made about your availability of players. You need to make one go away. And the one who's been used the least is Rudy York, although Rudy York is pretty good. So looking at catches, you've got 3 catches, but one needs 2 catches. I would suggest, I'm not going to make any changes, I keep saying. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your Don Baylor needs to be changed. There's no question about that. So to get some consistency in your lineup, your Don Baylor is not your DH, is he? He's not playing. And I remember Beatles saying, where is Don Baylor? Well, he's not picked. That's from a inactive point of view. But again, I'm going to leave that alone for Robbie. I've highlighted it, Robbie. That's why, and in fact, Fisher, because Perez is your catcher, he can't play. So you have to really play around with this just so it matches up. Then you could go to what I just showed on screen. Manager preferences. Not that one. You could go to generate default manager, that's it. And then, once you set your depth chart, then you could say settings apply to Arlington. So all of this stuff here will start matching up with what you've got here, which is the easiest way to do it. And I suggest the smartest way. And then you can generate a manager again if you want to. But it really will. So you click on do your depth chart first and your rotation, all that stuff, right? All of that stuff. Click, 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 click. Yeah, right? Maybe not that one, okay? And you may want to keep what you've already got. Then you generate it, okay? That's how you do your one there, all right? And then you could go back in and tinker it. So just to recap what I just said, Robbie, I know you know Action pretty well, but you're a baseball for Windows man. To make it a little easier, or to make your team a little bit more competitive, I would say, I could do it for you, but I don't want to damage the integrity of the league, and there's others out there who are fighting for the championship. But I would suggest you look at your depth chart, versus left, versus righty, select your player. You have got one player that's being allowed to play at the minute that I'm going to make a decision on. and that's who's playing and it shouldn't be, because you've got too many active players. I don't think you should take your pitches need to be changed. But from a games point of view, if I go on real stats, it'll be easy to make a decision. There we are. Here's your games played. The one with the least games is William Fisher, who ironically happens to be one of your catchers. Jimmy Williams is in there. So actually, the one who's not playing at all, do that one more time. So it's been a bit get by games. The ones who's not getting the game at the minute, it'd be Jake Dunn. And that would, it's either Rudy York or Jake Dunn. I would suggest Jake Dunn is made inactive, because you're breaking the rules, is what I'm trying to say. Okay? On Beatles one, it should be the same now. There's your 5. Now, you can play around with that however you want. It's up to you. But that's why Don Baylor's not playing. It's because he's inactive. I think you have a good team, actually, if you start playing around with your depth chart. Well, I'm not going to do it, because we may be rolling into Arlington soon. And I don't want to be playing them. So, that's the end of that one. Just to make sure Beatles is all right with that one. Just make sure the scheduled games is right. I have done right up until the 14th of May. So I've done the 12th. No, I think he did the 12th. I've done the 13th. Yes, I have. And I've done the 14th. Yes, I have. And I'm saying to Beatles, this is a nice juicy day for you, Beatles, because there's some great pitching matchups right across the board. Actually, I've done the 14th. What am I saying? The 15th is where I'm at. So I've done to the 14th of May. Box. Yep, done. Right, so, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining in, or when you do join, or you just want to cut the score at the end, or you're cruising through. Thanks to Legends and King Castro who came in earlier, Cleve baseball fan who came in earlier. I know my time is different to your time, guys, but appreciate you popping in. Over the weekends, I'm going to do what seems to be quite a popular, the breakfast show, where I do my time, lunchtime, but it's breakfast, you guys. So I do that. It seems to be popular at lunchtime when I am, there's a time difference on timing. People tend to tune in at lunchtime, my time. So I've learnt that, which has been really interesting, because obviously I can only do it during the weekends a little bit better. During the week, I can't really do it. Yes, I can. 5 o'clock my time is roughly when I can start, but that's when I finish work. So, and obviously there's other things to do. But Fridays, I can do it exactly. So look out for me on Friday. Lunchtime, if you're at work, you might want to just have a little bit of distraction at work. If you're in the US, or North America, I should say. If you're from other parts of the world, I'm on Greenwich Mean Time. Right, so with that, and without further ado, I will shut the broadcast down. Thanks very much for joining, everybody. Much appreciated. And I'll see you on all those wonderful channels like Legend Sports Universe channel. I'll see you on Cleve's channel. I'm sure Cleve's got a channel as well. I think I've seen it. Beatles Eternally, of course. Steve Tate, of course.